Hello, everybody. How are you this Sunday, September 17th? That means half of September is already past. And if you ever see me rubbing my face, sometimes when I put my makeup on, I think it's okay until I see myself in the camera. And then it's like, oh my gosh. So, hello, everybody. How are you? Oh, hi, Miss Bonnie. It's so good seeing you again. So let's see all who is here. Okay. Oh, Lisa's here. Mitty is here. Uh-oh, I'm not seeing Marcia. I hope she's okay. But Lisa's here. Mitty, Bonnie, Jody, Debbie. Oh, this is great to see all of you. BB, hello. Oh, what is this? A new way to do portrait quilts. That is super. I'm game. I love Melanie is here. Hello, Polly. So, and we might have a new person, a new Marcia to come in. Rose in, hello. So nice to meet you. Now, Rose, were you the one that recently joined? So, oh, it's so good. We've got a new Marcia that joined last night. So if she shows up, I want her to say hi so I can introduce her. And Rose, I do believe, is another new member to our group's IO. Oh, wonderful. Rideau Lakes, Ontario. Beautiful. Sonia's here too. Oh, thank goodness Bonnie Sauce. There's Sonia. Hi, hon. So I just wanted to tell you, I finally found the stick that I had picked for this, and I will end up, maybe if we have time, I'll show you how I'm thinking of putting it on that stick. And because I want the stick to kind of feature in prominently, because I think Mark was a little right when he said this started to look like a Christmas stocking, but I'm hoping if the stick, can kind of remove a little of the Christmas stocking look. But it is so good to see you. So, oh yes, how is our Sonia? So, use thick twine. Yeah, I thought about twine. I also brought over some ribbon, some matching blue ribbon. I'm not sure, but I think twine would be a really nice look. I've got to find it though. All right, let's see. So are you going to add tabs to the top? I was thinking about just stringing it. I really like Bonnie's idea of twine better than my ribbon. So what I'll do is find my twine this week. And what I'm going to do is have a needle and thread, and I'm just going to sew the twine to the back, then loop it around, then sew it, then loop, sew, loop, sew. But I'm hoping that stick will just give it a interesting. I make so many quilts. I'm starting to try to find unique ways to hang them. So, okay, but I like Bonnie's idea of twine. So I have twine around here. I just have to find it. But anyway, but yesterday, thank you, Miss Bonnie. She spent at least an hour and a half helping us work on learning how to prepare for our portrait quilts. We are going to do portrait quilts starting this Thursday on our Art Quilt Thursday. So I have a couple. This I did with what I found was cartoon feature, but I got on my Adobe Photoshop. Now, the only thing I haven't figured out, Jody, I found how to do the lasso to get rid of the background, and I found the poster eyes. I wanted this bigger, and I couldn't figure out how to print it on more pages. So I've got two of the same thing, but I will, I figured if I still can't find how to print it on multiple sheets, then what I'll do is print it the normal size and do my 16 square method of enlarging. Hold on. I'm getting a little summer moment here. So let me get my fan close by. But I figured if I have to, I'll do where I fold the paper and print it on one sheet of paper, fold it in 16 equal squares and draw it. But I'm hoping I can figure out how to print it so it will do multiple sheets. I'm still working on it. But Craft Pat is here. Oh, and I heard that Pat, I owe Pat and Melanie emails. I am very sorry, but Pat's going to come to Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, and Lisa and I are very nervously waiting to see if we were among the 35 who got our request in for the Alaska class fast enough. So we shall see. But I was trying to think, do I make my own templates? And I went, no, buy your templates, enjoy yourself. This is not the time. This class is your once a year big class, and don't scrimp. Do right by yourself. So anyway, but look at this little face in that posterizing. Is that the sweetest? I can't wait to do this. So I will start. We're on Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern time. We do Art Quilt Thursdays, and we will start Portrait Quilt now. And I want to thank our Jody because she is teaching this. Honestly, I present it, but she is our resident expert and guru. I didn't save it as PDF. That's the part I forgot. You and Joni were so cute because Joni was writing down, taking notes. Poor Miss Jody. Our Jody must have been tired because we were picking her brain because it's like we really want to. Oh, our Maria Mason is here. That's another new member. Hi. Hello. So good to see you. So, I'm a little tired today. Remember I told you last week I was tired too. Well, I ended up finding out my doctor had given me a medicine for me to try to help with my left hand tremors, Tremors, tremors. I don't know how you say these things differently enough. But anyway, she had given me some medicine, and it's a beta blocker. Well, it didn't react well with me. The other night, Mark and I went out to the movies, and I was huffing and puffing. And this whole week, I had been using my inhaler. I was like, I'm not breathing good. And when I got home, he said, take your blood pressure. And it was 100/50. And I went, that's not good. That's a little too low. And even this morning, it's still 100/60. So if you notice me just trying to be nice and chilled and relaxed, I am saying no more of that medicine. And okay, my hand will shake, but that's okay. I evidently, the medicine didn't agree with me well enough for me to take it, because when your blood pressure is too low, you're exhausted all the time. So I have carefully weaning off of that medicine. But I had gotten it back when I had my UTI, but I was reacting to the, I tend to be very sensitive to medications. And so it's been an interesting summer. It is propranolol. like OLLOLOL. So, but anyway, it's supposed to be a very well accepted and tolerated beta blocker. But I'm already on blood pressure medicine, so I have a feeling it was just a little too much for me. But I have good news. I've still been exercising, even though I'm being careful with the lower blood pressure. But and eating very carefully. In fact, my new favorite go-to snack are unsalted peanuts in the shell, because having them in the shell it takes extra time to eat them, and they're fun to play with, and I'm enjoying it, and it reminds me of fall with county fairs and things. I've lost 10 pounds, so I'm going to keep it up. I've got a good amount more to go, but I'm on my way. And I got to tell you, I am the world's worst at wanting to exercise, but it's working. And that's the important part. So I'm just going to keep going. But anyway, all right. So, and I know our Lisa has been doing very good. Oh, Lisa, when we get together in January, we are just going to be two fine chicks, let me tell you. We are just going to make them pay attention to us. But anyway, I ordered only one thing this week. I haven't felt like spending money. I've just been in one of those slumps, which Mark's like, yeah, that's a good one. But I ordered these. What these are, I found them on eBay. And I've been kind of wanting to do something new. I know I was going to do indigo dyeing and fabric dyeing and paper making, but it has been such a hot summer. And so it took away any desire to be out there in the hot, humid weather trying to do crafts. So I found these, and they are bone buttons, carved bone buttons. And hi, Miss Mary. And what I'm going to try to do, because if they're made out of animal protein, I'll probably have to wash them real good to get off any kind of chemical that might be on them. I'm going to try. You have used bone buttons before. I'm going to try to dye these. And I thought if I dyed them with indigo, and they would just be gorgeous. So I want to hand dye buttons. I've never done it before. I think it'll be fun to try. I tell you what, though, these buttons are heavy. I guess they're probably made of cow bones, and that's heavy. And so if I make a necklace out of them, I can't use so many, or else I'll be kind of hunched down with them. But I'm real curious to play with these and see what I can do. That's some people sometimes say, how do you get all your ideas or whatever? Well, I'm very much in touch with my inner child, and she loves to play and craft. If I wasn't such a big fan of quilting, I would probably be a crafter galore. And I've kind of transitioned in life from gardening and being a master gardener, then a quilter, and then a crafter. There's just so much. I've always said I wish I had several lives to do it all. But here are my buttons, and as I discover ways to dye them, I will show you the results. So, and luckily these were, I like eBay because I got all of them for $10. So that's a pretty good deal. All right. So now I've shown you that. I thought I would show you, I'm still working on right now. The project that has my attention is the Triptych. And I don't know if it's because I'm really enjoying it or I'm so determined to see if I can make it work. Next year, you're taking a Master Gardener course. Oh, wonderful. I took the course back up in Maryland. in Maryland and loved it. I loved learning. So good for you, Miss Polly. That's wonderful. You've used buttons before in the border on a wall hanging. That's a great idea. And I saw, I have to order it. I found a Grinch advent calendar, and I thought this one would be for me because I love the Grinch. I mean, he's my all-time favorite. And in fact, did I tell you the story that I was part of a workshop one point for children who had had pretty rough childhood. And this was probably 14, 15 years ago. And so we were asked to bring a stuffed animal. And I'm sitting there, I'm holding my stuffed animal. And because they were trying to teach us, kind of going back and teaching us how to comfort ourselves and not be afraid and things like this. And so they asked something that we were having a hard time dealing with. And I said, Mark, I said, there's this man in my life. And I said, I just get nervous sometime around him because he's such a strong person. And strong people reminded me of my abusive parent. And so we were talking and they said, tell us about the stuffed animal you're holding. And I said, it's the Grinch. And they smiled, and it dawned on me why they were smiling. They said, why do you like the Grinch so much? I said, because he knows what he wants. He knows who he is. He's grumpy on the outside, but he has a heart of gold. And they said, now tell us about Mark. I just cracked up. And that was a wonderful, wonderful moment because I realized that I'm attracted to strong people because I wanted to be a stronger person. But learning to trust myself and learning to trust my own judgment would be good. So I love that story. And the Grinch I adore the Grinch. So now why did I tell you that? Oh, and the whole reason I told you this story, I'm like, have you ever remember that Family Circus cartoon where the mother sends the boy to go get his jacket from his room and he ends up going all around the neighborhood before he comes back with his jacket? Well, that's what kind of storyteller I am. But the reason I was thinking about buttons and different color buttons too was I found this Grinch advent calendar you can make. And the person they showed, they had a little ribbon holding each little daily picture. And so you take the ribbon and you hang it on the corresponding button until you get the days before Christmas. And I thought that was so sweet. I said, I'm going to do it, and it's going to be for me. I have made advent calendars for all the grandkids. Well, my two little ones don't have theirs yet, but I'm going to get them for them this year. I've mostly got them made already. And, but I thought to myself, this is going to be Deb's. So anyway, exactly. I love that. So anyway, yeah, conversation starter. And so I thought, buttons would be so great. Oh, Bonnie, I love our Bonnie. Our first year of doing live streams, Bonnie was forever saying, Deb, put on your glasses, because I would try to read stuff. And I'm like, she's like, put on your glasses. Oh, okay. I love our Bonnie. It takes me back quite a ways. All right. So I just wanted to show you, here is our stained glass quilt. And I have the pattern free for this if you want it. But I work on it a little bit a day. Sometimes working with invisible thread is not always the easiest, but I wanted to show you, here is the back looking like a snail's trail. And you know what I do? It helps me. I come in where I know I need to do the zigzag, and I will Oh, thank you. It's good to work a bit and then put it down for a bit. Exactly. And so I'll come in from the side and I will just go where the easiest path. Instead of fighting it, instead of, fighting my machine, this is why it does look like snail's trails, because I come in with the zigzag and I just let it flow and continue. Now, in speaking of invisible thread, we have a photo that Anne sent us of her invisible thread order. And when I say invisible, I mean invisible. So during show and tell, I'll show you the hilarious picture that Anne sent of her invisible thread order. So that will be coming up. Oh, thank you, Miss Melanie. Do you see that? And this is, whoops, nope, I'm pushing the wrong thing to adjust it. Melanie's referring to the quilt on the design wall. That was this Thursday's, our very first Art Quilt Thursday warm-up project that we did. And what it is, it's a strip landscape. So we were stripping. And, but you know what's interesting about it? And I have a free pattern for that and a free pattern for the silhouetted tree. It was such an easy project. It was a quilt as you go. As we sewed each strip on, it was also quilted at the same time. By the way, we sewed it on and then flipped it. What I love is when I saw it, because this is a new style quilt for me. I'm not very avant-garde. I'm not very modern quilting. But I wanted this to be out of my comfort zone, because that's how you learn, is to push yourself. So I noticed when I hung it up the other day, the first time when I was showing Mark, I said, the clouds, those white pieces behind the tree are supposed to be clouds, but they look like the moon. And I thought, that is awesome. So, it's one of those happy accidents. I just thought that was absolutely awesome. So that is hanging there. And I'm going to probably do just a little bit I've got to stitch down the tree, and because that's just fused on. And then I will bind it and it's going to be done. So that I really enjoyed. And as easy as that was, I'm a little nervous about this, but you know what? We've got Jody by our side. And as long as we have Jody, we'll be okay. Because she is so good at this. Yeah, a design opportunity. Exactly. But it was a very simple thing, and I really like it. So, you never know how things are going to come out. All right, I'm very excited to show you about this. Now, let me double check. Every week, I print out an agenda, because if I don't, I tend to be very forgetful. So, and here, let me show you real quick. This was the inspiration. I don't know who made this quilt, and it's beautiful, but this was my inspiration for and like I say, I have free patterns. I have free patterns for everything, even the waterfall. And anytime you want them, let me come in here, put my glasses on. Okay, let's see. Our Time to Quilt at twc.com. If you want any of the patterns of the work you see, just drop me an email and ask for them. If you want to send pictures of your work or something good happening in your life, then send them to that email too. If you would like to join our groups IO, it's kind of like the old Yahoo groups. And it's a free thing we do. We get on there and have fun, show pictures, ask questions. No problem. All right. So this week, Thursday was the grand reopening of Pineapple Fabrics. They had done probably almost a year-long renovation of their warehouse, and they're now open Thursday through Saturday, and I believe that's every week. And is there, Andy, how to turn the picture into a pattern for the Thursday class? No, but we will be talking about that on Thursday. What I did is we did a Jitsi yesterday. We did a Jitsi chat, and we picked the brain of our dear, beautiful Jody with her lovely curly hair. Love her hair. And we picked her brain. We talked for an hour and a half. Jody was taking copious notes. It was so much fun. So we will go back over that. And I wish I had recorded her, because I'm going to try to do what she said. And in fact, Jody, this is rude of me, but if you could, maybe I can get with Joni. I'd like to get the notes, do this again, because I get to something, but I'm the family circus style of getting to it. And I want to be able to tell y'all as clearly as I can. So we'll start with that this Thursday. Then we'll talk about choosing your fabrics and all of that good stuff. All right. And we're going to be doing this steam-a-seam or whatever fusible that you're happiest with. We'll draw the pattern on the steam-a-seam or whatever fusible. We will also make a printed layout of it. We'll make 2 copies on the fusible and one to keep, so that we have a roadmap of exactly where things go. All right, so we'll talk about all that this Thursday night, September, one of those days, September 21st at 7:30 Eastern time. So, okay. And you know what? I'll see if I can write up a handout. So that way, if you can't be there Thursday, you can always watch again. But also, if you'd like a handout to keep right beside you to go, okay, I think that would help a lot. All righty. So I've shown you the triptych I haven't shown you the triptych process yet. Do you see it right here? It's exciting. All right. So up to right now, I'm doing pretty darn good, staying with my little schedule. Here comes the triptych process. Triptych is taking a work of art and dividing it into 3 sections. You can do a diptych, which is 2 sections, and I'm sure you can do more, but we're working on a triptych. Now, we were supposed to have done that this summer, but the piece of work that I did, I just couldn't figure a good enough way to divide it into 3, so we started another one. And this one, I got an inspiration online, and what this is, using paper piece pattern and 140 paper piece squares of 5 colors, purple, yellow, actually 7 colors, sun yellow, orange, blue, and red. So out of these 5 colors, making the paper piece pattern, making them look like swirls through the sky and the sun. And on the other end of this triptych, I'm going to make a moon. So that's why the sun has its own colors. The moon's going to have its own colors, even though here is a yellow stripe through here, a yellow stripe through here. I decided to make this a mountain range that's along the bottom. You have red from the sunset, blue with the sky, and then another little strip of red's going to go through here. But it's using squares and trying to give a very flowing, curved line. And I'm hoping when I show you the show and tell, I'll show you the inspiration for this. Also, I wanted to show you And it can be tricky. I've got a couple little places to kind of fix it. Like right here, this didn't quite meet right, so I'm going to add a piece right here for the mountains. Then, do you see these two little pieces there? Because it's tricky. You look and go, okay, make this here, but then when you match them together, they don't always match up. So what I've decided to do, let me show you where this doesn't match up. And I'm just going to use needle turn applique, put the applique pieces so this works. If you see right here, the sun, it started to go down here, but it continues right here. From this is part of the sun too. So what I'm going to do is use these two fabrics that match, raise this line up so it meets. And I've done this somewhere else. Let me see where it was, because I thought, you know what? It would be much too hard to try to take it apart and redo it. Here, I did one right there. I did one right there to make that line work. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to enter this in a show without it being as close to perfect as I can get. But for me to make this line work, I've got the matching fabrics, and I'll sit tonight while I watch my good NPR shows, public television shows. Oh, they've got some really good Masterpiece Mystery and Masterpiece right now. And while I'm watching those, I'll just stitch this on a good old needle turn applique, which is very relaxing. And what I end up doing with little pieces like that to make sure that I've got the pretty much the right side is I'll take and fold under with my fingers and just pinch it good, and then start stitching. So, yeah, I guess you are. You're right. You're right. And, but I thought this is really cool. So I'm not sure there are going to be 12 blocks across. Will this be the first piece of the triptych? It might be. I'm thinking I'll start the next 4 blocks. I'll do it separate until I decide where I'm going to separate it. But I love that it's starting to get some flow to it. It's starting to get some shape. So I'm enjoying that. Normally you don't take off the paper pieces until all the blocks are fully sewn in, because you don't know where the bias edges are, and it might stretch. Some of the blocks, that one downside of using newsprint for your paper foundation is that it wants to tear pretty easily once you've sewn through it. So I know how big each square has to be. And so sometimes if I had to tear off the paper because it was driving me nuts, I did. Now here is where I went back with the freezer paper. Remember, I told you I was doing first I started doing a freezer paper form. Then I tried the golden threads paper. But what I realized, I was sitting there saying, I'm not sure how I'm going to put this together yet, but I'll figure out and let you know. Because I was thinking, do you sew all the blocks roughly in place and then cut them apart and then add? It got a little confusing thinking about it. And I said, no, the blocks finish at 2.5-inch squares. So go ahead and draw the grid on the pattern, and that will show you how you have to cut up each block. So you see the grid on there, then you see the curvy lines that I've drawn that are going to be the design. Well, there is one block. So you make the paper piece block, the whole block first. But there's one of these blocks that has 4 different paper piecings in it. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. There's one block that has 4 different pieces of block in it. It's this red one right here. It has some of the pale sun yellow. It has some of the yellow swooped background. It has some blue to blend it into this one. And it has red for the red stripe that runs behind the sun. So I thought, am I going to try to exactly match the patterns when I piece that together? No. This is where some people say, how do you do so much? It's because I pick and choose my battle. And it's busy enough that you can't really see whatever, although I'm sure the original person who did this put a lot more effort into matching everything than I'm doing. But I want to have fun and get it done. So there we go. All right. So now you've seen the triptych. There are 4 blocks I have together in the column. I have 8 more blocks. And I've still got some of the blocks to make because the moon blocks are going to be a greeny yellow. And then I have the 5 basic colors, red, orange, yellow, blue, purple. So I have to have enough of each of those colors. And then you make this paper piece block and then you cut it so you can make the swirl show. Why do I choose these difficult things? I don't know. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see it happen. Oh, so as I was saying, Polly, yes, let's go to Pineapple Fabrics very soon. They're open Thursday through Saturday. They had the big grand opening with special prices and free gifts and lectures and all of that. But this week, with my blood pressure being so low, I didn't really feel like driving 2.5 hours and going, or 1.5, whatever, and going to it. So I hopefully maybe next week or the week after we can go. But I would love that, Miss Polly. All right. Any question? It's like, what? Deb's not... Is someone moving to Texas? Our Debbie is going back to visit her friends. So, but we're not letting her move back. She's on the East Coast now. So, she's allowed to go back and visit, just to visit. So I told Mark, for a lot of reasons, I'm glad he came here instead of me going to Texas. So, all right. Now what I'm going to do is I think I've gotten through just about everything. I promised Anne I would show the undersea quilt. I haven't done that. And I promised I would bring down my first UFO that I'm going to finish. And I haven't done that. But I'm just taking it a little easy. And as I was telling you, Mark and I went to the movie Friday night. And when we were at the movies, just trying to walk all the way into the theater, because it's a big theater. It's one of those new modern, well, it's been here for 18 years, but it's still huge parking lot, huge theater. And, but that's when I realized something's not right. When I checked my blood pressure, I knew why, because I was huffing and puffing and I couldn't walk fast. If they had yelled fire, I'd have been in trouble. But we went to see Mystery in Venice with Kenneth Branagh, and I'm trying to remember who else, Tina Fey. But the movie, the picture on the screen was so dark, we had a hard time making out backgrounds and everything. And then it was so quiet. Now I know I'm hard of hearing, but even Mark was like, I couldn't understand anything they said. So we left that movie early, and And Mark went to tell somebody. I don't know if y'all realize, but so they wrote us back and said they are in the process of replacing some of the projector bulbs, and they'll check it, and they're sorry and all of that. And he said that the sound quality was really muddy. I thought it was just me, but we got the man offered us a refund of our tickets, and we said, okay. So we'll have to go back another time. But we sat there an hour trying to figure out what was going on between the darkness of the studio and the muddy sound quality. But I feel bad for movie theaters because people aren't going to them as much. And so I'm sure it's hard for them to make the money. But anyway, okay. So now I'm going to take you to this week's Christmas, or let's just say winter ornament, because I feel bad. In fact, if any people with different religious faiths want to show or want me to make one of their crafts that they have around a holiday, I wish I knew more. I know Rosh Hashanah, I think, is happening now, but so I'm just going to, we'll call this a winter project instead of a Christmas, but let's see what we can do. I love doing all of this. And one of the reasons I like doing what we're doing today, I can keep it up even longer. So, oh no. Oh, Lisa, that's not good. In fact, you know what? I'm getting really tired of this whole thing of the government shutdown. And it's not fair. It's not fair because that puts a real financial burden. And some people think, well, yeah, but they'll pay you back when they get it running again. Well, then you get tax implications because they take out more taxes if they have to make up the pay. And it's just not fair. And it's frustrating for anyone who works for the government to have to be pawns in these silly political squabbles. That's enough for this week. But anyway, so what I did last night is I took toilet paper rolls. Let me grab one real quick. And for me, it's just fun. I sit there and say, these toilet paper rolls, and it's real nice. These are white, they're bleached, so it makes it easier to use them for things. But I look and they pile up in the trash, and I think, I wish there was something I could do with those. Well, there are different things. Last week, we made tree ornaments with them. And then I figured out how, yes, I could make a little miniature wreath, paint them green, put little red balls glued on them, and a ribbon, and that could be an ornament. This week, I wanted to make snowflakes. So all I did was gently, I don't make a sharp crease here, but just gently flatten it so that I can then cut across with paper scissors, cut rings across like this, and you decide the width. Mine are probably just over 1/4 of an inch, and it's totally up to you how wide you make them, and try to cut them. Okay, try to cut them pretty even, just because it makes it look just a tiny bit better, but all right. Last night I was watching Midsummer Murders while I was doing these. So when I start to do it again, I remember that show. Do any of you ever do that? If you're doing something special during a certain show, you tend to remember when you look at it again, you go, oh, yes. All right. Let me empty my pocket. I've got some good things to use. to help me with this. All righty. Then, let's say if you don't have any little type of clip, you could use a little hair thing. You could use a paper clip, whatever you have. So now, let me move these cute little things out of the way. Well, all I did was open it up slightly and take my glue and put glue on each side. Okay. Then, well, actually, I should have just put it on one side for right now, but put it then together here at the base and put a little clip on it just to hold it until it's done. Then put another one right there where that glue is. I already had the glue there. Then put another little clip. Okay. And these just hold it until it's dry. Now, if you get a place where the paper's loose right there because you cut it in strips, then just glue it back down. But I'm going to continue on. And I like to use craft glue with a project like this because it really, I want it to firm up, to hold pretty easily, where sometimes school glue can get a little sloppy. It takes longer to dry. And I want it to hold really well. Okay. Now, I'm sure that real snowflakes that fall from the sky have a certain number, scientific number of sides to them. But I'm just making my inner child happy. So I'll put just how many I feel like putting, and then that's good enough for Deb. All right. So here we go. Some of these, it helps to put on the other side so they don't run into each other. And you just want them to keep the clips close enough that they really hold themselves together well. Okay. So now that I've got this part done, I've got two ways of decorating in between. In this one, I took the ring, folded in half, creased the middle seam really well, like this, and then just glued this in the center. And then when you puff them out later, it looks like this. Or with this, and you know what I even did? I cut them kind of fancy. See how I cut them to give a little extra shape? But this one right here, this version, I took the ring and I cut it one side a little shorter than the other. Okay. So you end up with two pieces like this. Put the small one inside the big one. Now, I glued the bottom cut opening here so it would automatically stay together better. Then I put glue on either side of it like this, then brought the ends up like this. Okay, and you want them to stay together at the bottom because you want that height difference. Then I'm going to take and put some glue on here and here on each side of here. Stick this little thing inside there. And then put another clip on it. Then when it dries and you take the clip off, then you can push on the top of this to open it up to make sure, see, like this, just reach your finger there and make sure it's opened up a little bit. And there you go. So this is just a very, very simple little, it's a great thing to do with grandkids. Very simple. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one. I'm going to take some good silver acrylic paint like this. And then when I'm sitting and watching TV, I'll come in and I will paint it all over. And you decide what color you want. You could use white, blue, whatever goes with decorations or whatever makes you think of snow. And so I decided for this one, I would do silver. Now, if you want to keep these from year to year, I recommend you get a small box, like something you got supplies in, and you store them in their own box. Because if you put these in with other kinds of ornaments, they will flatten out. They're only good if you can keep them crisp and, because they would be real easy to destroy. They're just thin cardboard. But, and if you wanted to make them with grandkids and they become important, and what I would do is once the paint's dry, I would find an area to write their name in it and the year. So you've got a little keepsake that you can bring out in the future. I love it when the grandkids become adults and you can pull out the cute little things they did when they were little. And believe it or not, they love that. It's like, I really did that? Yes, you did that. And when my kids were little, I worried about them getting so many gifts from family and friends, but not really having anything to give back. So every year I had them make crafts that they could manage on their own and that they would give to all the family and friends, the important people in our life. So I'm not going to paint this whole thing. I'll just use up the paint until I'm done. And you might it might take more than one coat. But what I would do is paint everything except where you're holding, then lay it down to dry. And then when the first part dries, then you can pick it up and paint the part where you were holding on to. So just make it easy on yourself because you don't want to get frustrated and get paint all over. So, okay. Almost done using it up. And the more paint you put on, the prettier it'll look and the less it'll look like toilet paper rolls. In fact, some of the little creases and openings you can kind of fill up with paint so they're less noticeable. But this is wonderful, a wonderful project to do with grandkids or to give grandkids, because if they mess it up, they haven't messed up anything that's expensive. Now, so it'll show up on camera, I am going to use some blue. Let me get this out. I'm going to use some blue glitter. All right. And I'm careful with glitter. I know glitter's kind of gotten a bad name lately because it can get in our water supply and groundwater, whatever, and it just hard to ever get rid of it. But now you can see that when you add the glitter, it becomes right pretty. See that? So with enough paint and enough glitter, I think you've got a nice looking project. And I'm careful to try to scoop up the glitter when I'm done with it. Let me get a white piece of paper to show you. So here you go. So I think that's really sweet. And it's an inexpensive way to make a gift for someone, a neighbor, the mailman, anything like that without spending too much money. So here's what we started with, just the little rings. And there we go. So it's just something little and fun, and maybe something you might want to try with grandkids. So I'm just going to close this top. I will put the excess back in the bottle once we're done. But here we go. All righty. So now let me put this out of the way, get my brush in some water. Don't want to ruin my brushes. Right, now I'm going to get this out of the way here. Okay. So I just thought I'd show you that. And each week I'll find some little thing for us to do. Not anything so exciting. Oh, the handprint. Yes, plaster handprints of the grandkids. Don't you love those? And then when they grow up and you see that precious little handprint. Oops, I always end up touching some funny setting when I do this. Let me turn off the lights. Okay. And let's see what you have done to show. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right. Let me come back to the beginning. Yep, Alexis is our first person. Oh, I was going to show you. Let me come in here. There was something, Triptych, yes. I was going to show you what the inspiration Triptych looked like, because it's really quite beautiful. And I'm sure they did a much better job of sewing the different colors and pieces in there. Now, one thing this person did differently is they took, and where the red strip in the sky went past the sun, they blended the yellow of the sun and the red here and came out with a pale orangey red. That is a great idea, but it meant more blocks, and I couldn't handle that. So I said, nope, my son's just going to be bright yellow. But I love this. Now, I drew mine out. I made my own patterns. I drew out by hand the curves, and I added a mountain range down here. But I think this is really amazing. I love it. So that's my inspiration. And okay. I am so excited because Alexis posted a whole bunch of new, let me see, whoops, nope, wrong way, Deb. She posted some new works and new patterns she's drawing. We have watched this young woman advance and grow in her art for a good while. And I tell you, we have all been thrilled with her accomplishments. She's got a lot of talent, and I can't wait to see. Every time she does a new work, I cannot wait. And just these are all hand embroidered, and her stitches are so careful and so beautiful. So she does an outstanding job. She loves Transformers. This is a young person's art, and it's amazing. And she does beadwork. I just love it. So we're really proud of Alexis. And she actually went to, I don't know if it's like a cosplay kind of conference, and she sold some of her work. And it's so nice that she's getting some recognition. But isn't that nice? And I love it. Anytime you have any kind of art or craft that you are passionate about, it makes you a happier person. So, and you can tell the amount of pride she takes, just the way she photographs these things. So she's very talented. Way to go, Miss Alexis hon. I love her. We love her work. All of that stitching, it's amazing. All of that stitching. Here are two of her new patterns. So they're very intricate, and the way she draws them is kind of like architecturally really beautiful. So good job. We're really proud of our Alexis. Okay, so thank you, hon, and we love when you share your new work with us. Now, Miss Ann's been busy, and she got some of my free patterns of the paper piecing, and she has been making bunches and bunches of these blocks. Love it. Doing a good job too. Think it might have been her first paper piecing. She did a great job. And look at this. I love this. I love the woven effect with some things on top, some things under. That is so awesome. Then here is a bird. She did her first bird, and she's got it. I'm trying to decide if this is a non-stick thing or fabric, but you build it up piece by piece, and you either glue it or you use iron-on fusibles. And here's when she first started making the paper piece blocks. They are addictive, that's for sure. Then she's working on an undersea work, and I love it. She does collage landscaping. Then she got herself someone gave her some Inktense pencils, and she's a poet as well as an artist. And so she's practicing and learning how to use the Inktense. Very, very nice. Then she sent me this, and I'm not sure where she saw these, but she said, is there a possibility that we at some point could make our own lampshade cover? And I think that would be fascinating. So I've included them on here for us to think about, but that would be a lot of fun. Then here's the picture I was telling you about. She ordered invisible thread. Now you notice these are all still wrapped as they came from the shipper. There's a problem here. This thread was so invisible, it's not there. So somebody didn't realize, and she received one spool of nothing. I thought that was so cute. She said, I knew it was invisible thread, but that's ridiculous. And then here is a lovely flower that she worked on with her Inktense on art paper. That's lovely, lovely, lovely. I love that everyone has their own signature with their work. Just beautiful. Okay. Miss Betty Meisner, our last view of her amazing Bargello quilt. It is wonderful. Love that. Love what she chose as her outer border. Even her inner border. They both work to bring the colors together. Okay, now, BB, I love this. This is, I love showing you this because I always use a thread for the bobbin when you are quilting. I just always use a thread that matches the backing in the bobbin when I'm quilting. She used the same color thread on the top and the bottom, on the thread on top and in her bobbin. And guess what? It ends up giving her a negative image, so to speak. of her quilt. Is that amazing? I love that. So she has 2 quilts for the price of 1. And I love her Sunbonnet Sue eyeglass case. That is lovely. Those would be good gifts, wouldn't they? And then, oh goodness, now let me see if I can turn this. Okay, she hand crocheted this. It is gorgeous. Crocheted lace. Isn't that beautiful? She is quite the artist. Here's a close-up view of it. So talented and very patient. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, and here it is laying on the table. Whoops, didn't mean that one. Here. Oh, that's so pretty. Isn't that elegant? Beautiful. And then here is the front of her beach landscape. Absolutely beautiful. Love the plush yarns. I love the thread painting, and looks like she couched yarns on that. I love the way she connected the fence and these wonderful stones and the beach umbrellas, the lace for the waves. Beautiful. Thank you, Miss BB. Miss Bonnie. Oh my goodness. Miss Bonnie has a folder full. She's been a busy lady, let me tell you. So she's doing this applique work for a quilt. I think she's doing a block exchange, but look at this. And she has got, I have a box with a few DNC MC flosses, but none of them are wound and labeled and everything. So Miss Bonnie is so organized. She can easily go to her special stash and pull out exactly what she wants to use to highlight her work. Isn't that great? I love that. And then look at this. What a wonderful way to really make a treasure out of a piece of fabric. Here is her black work. And this was from the Jacobean time of English history. Isn't that gorgeous? And if you only knew, each of these squares is small, just a couple of inches. So that is absolutely beautiful work. People throughout history have loved decorating and bringing in their personality into something as simple as a piece of cloth. Isn't that beautiful? That's attention to detail. I could not do that if I tried. Here is that same piece of black and white outline fabric, and look at the colors of floss she's going to work on it with. Wow. And she did some hexies. I like how she wrapped the edge of those hexies. That's really awesome. And then here we go. Here is a new, whoops, dab. Here is a brand new basket of flowers that she's using in the block exchange. Love it. And here's all of her work there, showing what she was planning on doing this month. Way to go. Yay, girl. All right. So now let's see who is next. I only have a couple little things, and they're not even about me. But where is, okay. Here again is that stripped landscape. But here, my daughter went camping to our favorite lake, and I guess she's probably driving back home now, but oh, how nice. Isn't that wonderful? Mm, look at this. Just lovely. I wish I were there. Oh, then my other daughter went, I'm trying to think of what she went to, but she saw this beautiful quilt. And that is a beauty. Looks like it might have gotten a best in show. Isn't that something? So she went to some, oh, I know what it was. It was a county fair. And so that's wonderful. Okay, so now let's go back out. Debbie. Okay, and as I said, Debbie's going to go see her friends this weekend or this week, going back down to Houston. So I hope she has a very good trip. I love her beach quilt. I see Rick Rack. I see Tulle, Pelican, sailboat, shells. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And I love this, that the colors in those blocks is amazing. And a tropical fun summer quilt. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Now, let's see. Now, oh, Dolores sent us a whole bunch. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be an exciting. Now, you know what? This is in the wrong place. This is our Miss Mary's. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, this is Miss Mary's. I think she said it's her first quilt, which is shocking. That is such a complex first quilt, and it's beautifully done. Talented lady. Okay, so now I need to take, let me see if I can. Well, hold on 1 second. I hate to leave it here because I'm going to forget about it again. Sometimes, I'm sorry, but sometimes I'll accidentally drop something in the wrong place. And I don't mean anything bad about it. Well, I'll have to do it later. I'll have to write myself a note. But here comes, I'm going to go ahead and move it out just to make sure I don't forget. Hopefully I can find it again when we cover Miss Mary's. Okay. So, no, don't do that. Bring this. Okay, photos. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. This is Dolores's work. Now, Dolores goes to different craft shows and sells her beautiful work. You won't believe this, but these are just a mere, I think, 3 inches. Look how beautiful that is. And I'm going to look at that squirrel. Isn't that gorgeous? But these are her beautiful works that she sells. Love, love, love that. Little girl on the beach, just tiny little works of art. Look at the fox. I'm going to bring him up so you can see the detail in that cute fox. Look at this bear. Let me bring him a little bigger. Her thread work is just amazing. Okay. Oh, look at this possum. That is so realistic. That's amazing. Mm-mm-mm. And what she does, she sells these works on their own easel. Isn't that amazing? So Miss Dolores stays very, very busy. Okay, next one. Look at this amazing goldfish. Mm-mm-mm. See the extra pieces and all the thread work? Very talented. Look at this. Let me get this enlarged. I love it. And look at the way that she's left a little around the edge. I'm not seeing, can anyone tell what that is? Oh, I know what that is. That's a manatee. I believe that is a manatee with a little eating right there. Oh my gosh. It took me a moment to be able to see what that was, but I think that's what it is. Oh, how neat. Thank you, Miss Dolores. You're so talented. And I definitely understand when she doesn't always get to play when we're playing, but you know what? She's a busy lady. So talented. And when we first met her, she was in a wheelchair because she had fallen and injured herself. This is Miss Jody working on a portrait quilt. And you'll know why we asked Miss Jody to teach us. She's so talented. Look at this. Isn't that something else? And look, she even did the Chrysler building, that biplane. I mean, look, isn't that beautiful? Wow. And I love the fabric that gives him a furry look. But this is why we consider Jody to be a master at this. Just amazing. And she's not finished yet, but I think that is just, in fact, while we're here, let me just show you a few of her amazing. I know I'm supposed to delete these after a bit, but it's so hard to do that because her work is so phenomenal. Look at this. The Lancaster. Is that Lanchester, Lancaster? Isn't that beautiful? Mm. And her Wolfman. Oh, and there's one more. Creature from the Dark. Oh, there's two more. Creature from the Dark Lagoon right here. And look at this. Isn't that something? So she's very talented. Now you know why I can't throw those away. It's like they're so special. I have to keep them. All right. Now let's go back. And Joni joined us yesterday for the Jitsi chat. And we'll show her quilt one more time. We missed her, but she stays pretty busy. So it was nice seeing you yesterday, Joni. All right, Kathy Klein. Let's show Kathy Klein's one last time because it was a lovely Bargello. Lovely. Now let me go back here and see if I can find. Let me see. Here it is. Now let me see if I can get this picture up to Miss Mary's folder. Because I made a mess of some of the pictures for a few weeks ago, and I don't want to do that again. Oh, it's already in there. Okay. Well, let's check. Who is next? I think it is Mary. All right. So we saw her wonderful Bargello. And now look at this. This was her first quilt. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. And even back then, she has a refreshing take on fabrics that she puts together. I love it. There's the back of that with the quilting. And she hand quilted it by draping it over a TV tray holder. Wasn't that a good idea? She's very creative. Love that. Love that. Okay. So now let's go back. Miss Melanie, the last photo from her vacation. And we are suckers for sunset. That's just beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Now let's go back. And That might, oh, whoop, whoop, got one more thing. Okay. I think our last one is Miss Sonia. And this amazing quilt that she quilted on a domestic, which always just baffles how someone can do that. Beautiful. Look at the applique, look at the piecework. It's immaculate. This is her studio. Isn't that beautiful? I love that border. Love, love, love it. Oh, just thank you, Miss Sonia. All righty, everybody. And whoops, 1 second, please. Let me get my computer back with y'all. Okay. Oop, here we go. That is a phenomenal quilt. Oh, Meltum's here. Hi, sweetheart. You're taking a driving course. Oh, good job getting your license. Oh, then you'll be able to travel and all that. Oh, that's wonderful. Way to go. Good luck. We wish you the best. So, while we were getting ready to look at the photo, I found some twine, but I wish it were thicker. So I might, there's white twine, but it doesn't look good. I think you need a natural. But I think what I will end up doing is just kind of wrapping this around and every so often coming down, stitching it on the back of this. But let me do this really quickly. Oops. All right, so I'm just going to wind it loosely. And then every couple of twists, I will bring it down. Let me tie it on this end. A good old knot. Let me try this again. Let me bring you down so you can see it too. All right. So first, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to leave this little piece of a stem because I think that looks interesting. And this feels like a piece of driftwood. I don't know if I found it. I might have found this on a shoreline, maybe of our river, but I'm going to tie it here. And then I'm going to just loosely wind it around, just loosely. And that way, every couple of little loops, like this one, I'll take and stitch it to the back here and have that hang down. Then actually, what I just thought of, actually, when I come up from stitching that down, I'm going to pin it to pretend that it's stitched. I'm going to stitch it right to the back of the binding. All right, so I'm going to come down like this. Then when I come back up, I'm going to bring it through so that it forms a little firm loop. Like, let me cut this. All right. So I've got it connected to the quilt here. Then I'm going to bring it up. And when I make this loop over the stick, I'm going to do just a little easy knot. Okay. See that? Whoops. It would help if I did it in the camera frame. Just make an easy knot. Then while I'm down here, do another stitch on the back of this. That pin is acting as a stitch there. Whoops, I got two of them. Okay. All right. So now I have that there. Then I'm going to come up, and when I go through and make this loop, then I will just come through it, because otherwise it would constantly want to hang crooked. So when you get it just right, then tighten it. And I'm going to go back around, and then I can come down and stitch it again. So do you see how I'm doing this? Very, very simple, easy. And I think that will be a nice way to handle having something a little different for a change. Because, sometimes we get into these ruts when we do everything the same way every time. All righty. I think I'm done. And I think I'm going to go upstairs and change into something comfortable and jump in my hammock. Because as soon as the weather gets cold enough that my house plants have to come back in, my hammock has to be put away and the house plants will take over. So while I still have, because you know how the weather goes nowadays, it'll go right from middle 80s to overnight lows of 40. So you got to be prepared. But I think I'm going to go get comfortable, get something really soft and comfortable, jump in the hammock and relax. Oh, there is one thing, working on UFOs. I have been working on my Alex Anderson Neutrals quilt. I only have to do 2 more applique flowers, and then I think I can actually put the rows together. So I'm very excited about that. So I am working on getting UFOs done, because a quilt is only a quilt when it's finished. Otherwise, it's just a bag of junk. And I don't want all these bags of junk. I want amazing quilts that maybe people will fight over when I'm no longer around to use them. So anyway, take good care. Have a great week. Thursday night is going to be here, and then we'll work on, where's my grandsons? I don't know. I think I put them back in the basket. Oh, here they are. We'll be working on our portrait quilts. I can't wait. And Miss Jody's going to tell us how lighter colors like this, the edges of that fabric will go under the darker colors. So we'll show you how to handle that little pattern piece. And we're going to learn it the right way. All right, everybody. Take good care of yourself. Have a great week. Do something special just for you, because that way, then you have more to give the world. Okay? All right. Take good care. Thank you, Miss Jody, for yesterday. You are so generous. And everybody have a great, great week. Thank you, Miss Lisa. Y'all take good care. Melton, good luck with those driving lessons. Good job. All right. Bye, BB. Bye, everybody. Mwah. See you soon. Whoops. There we go.